Today is International Human Rights Day. Every year on the 10th of December, the world marks the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. We mark it in organisations, with governments, civil society and social movements across the globe, often with a shared theme. This year, that shared theme will resonate strongly. We've all had our rights affected this year, albeit in very different ways by the COVID-19 pandemic. Governments the world over have faced extraordinarily difficult choices. Calculated trade-offs have been made in a difficult balancing act between protecting the rights to life and to health and other rights, like the rights to freedom, to family life, to work and education. In the face of these challenges and trade-offs, human rights provide a compass to navigate these choices, a means of both informing and scrutinising decision-making. Today, while we reflect on the challenges of 2020, we also want to look forward. We want to discuss how human rights can give us a steer on how we approach economic and social recovery as we move to 2021, how rights can help us recover better.
As a society in Scotland, we're simply not accustomed to the state or governments restricting our lives in the way that it has this year. Yet, even in these times of crisis, we need to remember that democracy, the rule of law and human rights have all remained in place. The rulebook didn't disappear in the spring of 2020. In fact, it's been referred to more than ever. It's been used to assess the parameters and the necessary reach of state power throughout this pandemic. It's been a devastating year for some and a really challenging year for all of us. And in Scotland and around the globe, questions are being asked about whether our governments are striking an appropriate balance in their response to this crisis. Human rights laws require each and every measure taken by the government to be questioned. Which rights are at stake? Are restrictions strictly necessary, proportionate and time-bound? Are there less restrictive alternatives? Are the most vulnerable being prioritised? What positive steps must be taken for upholding of our rights? And these questions of balance are going to stay with us for a long time. Some will undoubtedly be the subject of legal action. Others will be the subject of inquiry or investigation. Looking ahead to 2021, with vaccines on their way, we face a double challenge of navigating our way out of this crisis period and rebuilding our society and economy. But a return to business as usual is simply not an option for future resilience or for sustainability. Because before the pandemic, things were not working for everyone and things were not working for our environment. Economic and social recovery plans provide an opportunity to rethink our priorities, to reset our future trajectory and to recover better. Tackling the inequalities that have been laid bare by the impacts of this virus and ensuring the protection of our environment and our planet really must be at the heart of how we move forward. The pandemic has highlighted the need for targeted attention and resources in areas like health, social care, and low-paid, undervalued sectors of the economy. But regardless of the pandemic, investment in these areas is really required to realise our economic and our social rights. And these are rights such as the right to an adequate standard of living, to housing, to food, to health, to education and social security. And these rights make explicit asks of law and policymakers. And while these rights are currently international legal obligations, they're not enforceable in Scottish courts and they're not embedded in Scotland's laws. A national task force for human rights leadership, led collaboratively by the government, is considering recommendations for a new human rights law for Scotland. And this law would embed these international obligations and others into Scotland's laws and provide accountability for where they're not upheld. And this year we've seen a model for doing this. A bill currently being progressed at the Scottish Parliament will incorporate the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child into Scots law. So this potential of a new human rights framework in Scotland offers us real hope that rights can be considered more holistically and more systematically in setting priorities, budgets and policies as we rebuild and recover. Addressing the climate emergency must be a pressing priority for our recovery because climate change remains the most fundamental threat to humanity and our planet beyond this virus. In November of next year, world leaders will come to Glasgow for the postponed UN Climate Change Conference of the Parties, known as COP26. And here they will work towards collective agreements on tackling climate change. And this is a really critical moment for the future of our planet. It will require consensus building and focus on common goals. And again, human rights, as agreed international standards, can assist in steering this dialogue, because actions taken to combat, mitigate and adapt to climate change have the potential to impact on many rights in many ways, including positive ways. And where these are accounted for, we'll all benefit, both in more developed parts of the world and also in those less economically developed parts of the world. This virus has really starkly illustrated the interconnectedness of our world, the connections between countries, the connections between people, and the connections between humans and the environment. And in this connected world of polarised views, global challenges, an agreed set of standards which centre on the rights of those most in need is to be cherished. The virus has pulled us apart, literally and metaphorically, but human rights provides one means of bringing us together onto common ground. Through human rights, we can reconnect with shared goals and objectives, benchmarks, to uphold our humanity and ensure that we can all live freely and with dignity and with respect.